The biggest game of Wednesday night, at least from a rankings perspective, was UNC and Oklahoma battling it out in Charlotte, part of the Jumpman Invitational. UNC handled business, won handily. The scoreline maybe was indicating the game was closer than it actually was. UNC was in control for majority of the game, hands Oklahoma their first loss. That's Connor Hope. I'm Brian Rauf with the Heat Check CBB here on the Sleepers Media YouTube channel to break this one down. Connor, we thought this might be the result. UNC, the more talented team, played that way. Oklahoma put up a good fight, but we'll talk about UNC first. What did you see from the Tar Heels that allowed them to win this game?
Ball control. They could basically play out their entire offense every single possession, which was good. They played just the way they want to play. RJ Davis had an unbelievable game, which I think was not something that I would have necessarily pegged as, I'm expecting this to be the RJ Davis game. I thought it was going to be the Bacot game. Bacot had a decent game, not great. And it was just, we both came into this game saying, I understand Oklahoma's ranked 7th. I understand UNC is ranked 11th. I think UNC is just a better basketball team. And they proved that in almost every facet of the game, with the exception of rebounding, which kind of surprised me a little bit because I figured with Bacot and Ingram and some of the other players on this roster that they could control the boards. But this Oklahoma team, and it wasn't like they had a dominant rebounder. They just rebounded well. Suarez had 8 and everyone else was 5 or fewer, and they ended up with 41 boards. So on the UNC side, they were allowed to play their offense, didn't turn the ball over, played within themselves, which was not a staple of the UNC team from last year. And I know we're 12 games into the season, we shouldn't talk about the UNC team from last year, but we kind of have to. They exercised a lot of demons early on this season, and especially tonight, from what they had last year. And then for Oklahoma, they were giving the ball away like it was seedless watermelons in the summer. They just could not finish possessions, and it was rough. They also didn't shoot particularly well, but it was, 30% is not terrible. That's not the end of the world. For them, it was the 18-9 turnover battle, I think, that ultimately decided this game.
UNC asserted itself defensively in a way that I have not seen them do under Hubert Davis. You got Armando Bacot and Harrison Ingram just swatting shots into the second row in a way that was stark. You had intense pressure on the perimeter that led to those turnovers in a way that allowed UNC to get easy baskets. This was a business-like win for North Carolina when they went out there and played at a good level, were consistent, and handled their business. They haven't really done that in the Hubert Davis era. They've either played at a really elite level that surprises you go back to that Tennessee game, or have played at a level that is kind of disappointing and you wonder if Hubert Davis is the right guy for the job. This is the first time to me they've come out and just done what they were supposed to do. RJ Davis had a big game. Mondo Bacot had a big game. You got great play from Elliot Cadeau pushing the pace. You got Harrison Ingram and Cormac Ryan playing their roles at a high level. If UNC keeps this up, that's a Final Four potential team. The question is if they can do that, because we haven't seen them do it consistently, but they just did it against a high-level opponent. So if I'm a UNC fan, I'm feeling pretty good about where we stand going into ACC play.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm going to take exception to the fact that you said Cormac Ryan played his role at a high level. He's basically been this all year, right? He'll battle for rebounds. He's a shooter. Shoot. He doesn't make a ton of them. I
thought he played well defensively.
Defensively, yes. But I thought the whole team played well defensively. Cormac Ryan, coming in, you knew he was going to try and be like a wing shooter. And he's been that, just not at the level that I think Riley Davis from Heat Check thought he was going to be. I know he blames
Wow.
me for that. He blames me for giving Cormac Ryan bad juju. Because there are two former Stanford Cardinal players on this roster. One of them I loved coming in Harrison Ingram. The other one I did not, in Cormac Ryan. But yeah, I mean, there's not a lot you can fault UNC for in this game. And for Oklahoma, like it was something that was bound to happen. Like
Yeah,
at some point,
this was
someone
their
was going to
first
come
loss.
in and just run them off the floor. And maybe it's good for them, right? Because I still think Oklahoma's a tournament team. Like this isn't the death of Oklahoma. McCollum played well. He just, he couldn't keep up with some of these guards and fouled a lot. And but he played well, and I thought that some of the other players played decently. It was just, when Moore gives you 5 turnovers and your bench shoots 3 of 15 on the night, like it's going to be rough to win those games.
Do you leave this game feeling differently about Oklahoma, better or worse in any way?
I think I came into this game with a lot of questions about Oklahoma. I came into this game thinking, is Oklahoma as good as they're ranked, or is this maybe a product of schedule? I come out of this game thinking probably more of the latter, but I still think this is a team that'll stay in the top 25 for most of the season. I just think UNC right now looks like the best team or the second best team, wherever you want to rank. I think they're the best team in the ACC. I know there are people who will jump on the Clemson bandwagon still, but or Duke with their win over Baylor, maybe Duke is gonna make a push for it. But this UNC team just looks. I mean, this is the team that we expected to be the floor last year.
Yeah,
and it's happening this year. So no, I think this UNC team is clicking. And here's the thing, is that this team looks way better, way more in its flow, more consistently without Caleb Love. But I don't think it's a matter of Caleb Love, because like Caleb Love also looks much better and much more in the flow consistently with Arizona. Like I think it was just a bad situation all around. There were probably bad vibes in the locker room all season last year for various reasons with Caleb Love. And having him with Arizona and being the star guard on the top 3 team has helped UNC. I think they're playing with much more purpose this year than they played last year. And I think it's showing on the court.
Yeah, Cadeau's emergence as the point guard, I think, has been key, because he's taken a lot of the ball handling duties away from RJ Davis. He has pushed the pace in a way that Hubert Davis wants, and this offense executes the best at when they're playing at a high tempo. And he's an excellent passer with an excellent feel for the game, who would prefer to pass rather than shoot. And it's fit into this team well. With Oklahoma, I actually leave this game, I think, feeling better about them moving forward than I did. To your point, and we had talked about this in the preview, 10-0 had proven they could beat like bubble teams pretty consistently, or low NCAA tournament teams where they were at that level. But this was going to be the biggest test they faced from just a talent perspective. And I think that showed. I think Oklahoma showed that they were a top 25 team, not a top 10 team, which is okay. But they had all those turnovers. They didn't shoot the ball particularly well, and hung with UNC having a good performance. Like, to me, I leave this feeling like this is a team that can still be competitive in the Big 12, should make the NCAA tournament, again, should be a top 25 team for the majority of the season. It reinforced, I think, all the positive things I felt about Oklahoma, and I have more confidence in those now, even in the loss. So if I'm an Oklahoma fan, I would have rather won the game and been undefeated still, but I still leave feeling pretty good about where my team's at going into the new year.